Yes, lovely people. I hope you're well. Welcome back to another Combat Catch. I'm joined with Luke Tanner. Make sure you guys subscribe to Luke's channel. Link is in the description. Jamie, unfortunately, can't make the show, but as always, go and subscribe to Jamie's channel as well and smash the like button. Got some topics to talk about tonight. Israel Adesanya is not retiring, contrary to beliefs going into the fight and after the fight with him losing against Duplessis. We're going to speak about Tom Aspinall, who has finally exploded and decided to really go after John Jones verbally and in a trolling way. Also going to speak about Khalil Rountree getting his title shot and what that means for the division and the unrest in the division since that announcement. And then we're going to finish up by speaking about the middleweight division as a whole. And I'm going to be asking the question, is it currently the most exciting division in the UFC? Luke, how are you doing, my bro?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very, very well at the moment.
Yeah, I can't say I am, man. I'm 0-2 in pay-per-view main events. I wanted Leon to win, obviously. I wanted Israel to win, and both of them got beaten. One was dominated over the course of 5 rounds. The other one was stopped in the 4th round. But we're going to start with the latter, and that is Israel Adesanya, who had a very good fight against Duplessis. I don't think anyone will sit there and say he had a poor performance. Some aspects of his game where I was a little bit surprised. I feel like he's slowed down since he put on some of the muscle mass. His grappling for the submission finish, I think, showed a little bit of inexperience on the ground there, which you'd expect from a predominant striker. But what do you make of him coming out quite staunchly saying that he's not going to retire?
I'm glad. I'm glad he's not saying that he's going to come out and retire, because I don't think any fighter would want to retire on a loss. But it begs the question, what's next for him? Because he's not going to get a title shot at 185. Even if he jumps up, which I don't think he should do, because I think he's a bit undersized. He's not going to get a title shot straight away. I think it's struggle at 205, and he's in limbo. He's in a bit of limbo, to be honest. Yeah, he's in limbo. I'm glad he said that he's not retiring, but I don't know what fight's really gonna sort of get him out of, because he's gonna have a long break now. Like, he's not gonna come back in 3 months.
See, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think he will actually have a long break? Because I don't think he will. I think that break did him the world of good in terms of mental and physical repair and sort of getting back on the game. But I actually don't. I think he will be itching at the bit to try and get back in there as soon as possible now.
Yeah, I think that, but part of me feels like that. I don't know. It depends what he wants to do, because I think I said it in the preview and like during the fight, and afterwards, like, how much does he still want it?
Yeah.
How much does he want to have another run at the belt? And now this time he's going to have to go through, I'd say, a few contenders, like the winner of Imanov versus Allen, looking at the possible loser of Whitaker Hamza, or the winner of that. And there's definitely up and comers. Has he got the hunger and the desire to beat a couple of contenders to get another shot at the title? That's the thing for me. Like, has he got that hunger? Because I thought I know I have my issues with Izzy with the dog stuff and stuff like that. But I thought he looked good. I thought he looked refreshed. I thought in some aspect he looked sharp. Obviously, we know that he's an inferior grappler to Duplessis, and you definitely saw the inexperience the second he got taken down onto the ground. Unlike when he gets taken down before, he usually pops straight back up. But in this situation, the second he got caught in a submission, it's like he froze and just like, oh shit, and then that's when Duplessis took advantage and got into tap. So you can definitely see that is still inexperienced. Like, he's still an inexperienced, grappler.
I completely agree. It's a difficult one. I'm going to bring up the rankings. You should be able to see that, right?
Yeah.
So middleweight rankings, obviously Duplessis is champion. He's still ranked number 2, Adesanya. However, you look at the fighters in the top 10, I don't think he takes a fight against Delize. I don't think he takes one against Hermanson. He's beaten Costa. Alan Imavov are fighting next.
Fight the
Vittori
loser.
he's beaten twice. Beaten Cannonier, beaten Whitaker twice. Really and truly, the only fights really for him are Strickland again if Strickland loses to Duplessis, and the winner of Imavov and Allen. Now, granted, Allen is Australian.
Or it would be Jared Cannonier's fighting Briallo this
That's
weekend.
this weekend, yeah.
So possibly if Briallo beats
Maybe,
Canonier, then you could see that as a possibility.
But I asked, do you think it favors him fighting a 3-round fight? Because I look at Izzy and I feel as though a 5-round fight is actually better suited to him. He's someone that doesn't really like to rush his work. He likes to figure out his opponent and then pick apart his opponent and take his time. I feel as though in a 3-round fight, it could be at his detriment, because if you lose the first round,
you're sort of against.
There's no room for error after that. So do you think he tries to get a co-main event? He won't get a main event without the title. Do you think he tries to get a co-main event? And if so, do you think he tries to push for a 5-round fight?
Or that I'm not too sure of. I'm sure that there is a way to get him a main event if they don't do the cards at the Apex. There'll be ways to get him into a main event position. Definitely
even
not
without the belt, you reckon?
Pardon?
Even without the belt, you reckon you'll get a main event?
Yeah, I think for like when they take like the fight nights out of the Apex and actually on the road to like arenas with big crowds, then yes, there is a way that you could see him fight someone in a main event, because he is still one of the biggest names in the UFC. So that's the only way that he gets to fight, probably main events, or even 5-round co-main events. I don't know. I think the 3-rounder might be a good thing, because he's had 12 consecutive 5-round fights.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that takes a toll. Maybe the 3-rounder might change up the game plan a little bit. May need him to sort of be more aggressive, rather than being that type of fighter that likes to download the data and then in the later rounds really get the work done. Maybe a 3-rounder might be what he needs to sort of say, no, we need to quicken things up a little bit.
Potentially. I just feel he does his best work at 5 rounds, but I'd be very intrigued to see how it goes. I know you mentioned earlier about him not changing weight and staying at 185 as opposed to going up to 205. But you look at the state of the 205 division, and obviously we'll touch on it with the Rountree announcement. I mean, his good friend Carlos
down to 85.
Say again, sorry.
Well, Prohachka was talking about dropping down to 185.
But him and Prohachka are very good friends. So I don't even think they'll fight. They get on really well because they're both represented by Tim as well.
No, right.
So I don't actually think they'll fight. But I look at the state of that division, and obviously Pereira's king in that division, but skill for skill, if Izzy moved up, he'd probably be the first or second most skillful in that division alongside Alex Pereira. But again, it's the size. It's the size. He's going to be so undersized in that division; it'll be unreal.
And plus the weakness in the grappling. The guys that are pretty much heavyweights chopping down to 205, they're going to have to size the second they grab him up against the fence. I think Izzy weighed in at 201, which is the heaviest he's weighed in, like on fight day. We saw what he was like when he fought Blachowicz. He was literally holding pizza and still didn't even get close to hitting the 205 limit.
Yeah.
So unless he really spends a year bulking up properly, then for me he needs to stay at 185.
But then again, if he bulks up, would that diminish his speed? Because his speed is what it would be the key in that division for him. He'd outspeed everyone and potentially outstrike people.
But we did notice that his speed was decreasing in this fight, and he was at 185.
But the guys at 185 are naturally going to be quicker than the guys at 205, though, because they're not carrying as much bulk.
Yeah, definitely.
Pereira's a bit of an anomaly, obviously, in all aspects of life.
Oh, yeah.
But very entertaining. situation. I'm very intrigued to see how the Israel Adesanya story plays out as well and see what he does next. Right, moving on to wow, what can I say? In fact, I'm not gonna say too much. I'm actually gonna let the
real
words
champ,
Tom Aspinall do
the
the
real
talking.
champ.
So I'm gonna play a couple of videos because I don't think I would do it justice just by talking about it. So this is Tom Aspinall, who is literally gone. So this is the video that came out today, if I'm not mistaken. He's also said he's going to do a video tomorrow on his channel, really speaking about this situation. So here's a video of Tom Aspinall, yeah, for lack of a better word, trolling John Jones.
You put two guys in a room, and who walks out? John Jones walks out of the fucking room every time.
Exactly right, Dana. We need to get John in a room first. Let's go and find the room. Hello, John? 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 Hello, John?
Oh, boy.
John? John?
It was at this moment that he knew.
Sorry, mate. I thought it was someone else. Sorry. John? There he is. We've got him. John! John!
Obviously, I can't play the rest of the video now, but as you can see from the visual, it's got John Jones versus Joe Biden. I'll be honest, that's elite trolling. That really is. And I wish Jamie was here for this because he's been begging Tom Aspinall to do this for a while.
Yeah, we've all been begging for him.
Yeah,
to do it.
I didn't really mind how he's going about his work, but I'm really starting to feel it now. So
look. Oh, it's beautiful to see.
It is. He's done brilliant.
We needed this for a while.
Yeah. I'm gonna find the video of him speaking to Michael Bisping.
Oh yeah.
Retire at the end of the year. But I said, "Oh, Tom, look at this." John says he's retiring. Do you know what his response was, Anthony? He's a bit of a fanny, isn't he?
Well, I stand by that. I stand by it. But John Jones, he was praying that I would lose that fight against Curtis Blades. And mate, the guy, we know he's a bit overweight these days. The guy was sat there, mate, with the Cheeto fingers, the Doritos on his fingers, waiting for me to get knocked out so he can start tweeting about it. Since I won that fight, he's gone completely quiet. There's no way on earth that he's going to fight me. Not a chance. I will retire John Jones without even fighting him. They're holding the belt hostage, mate, and John Jones is loving it. He's loving the fact that Dana White is getting on every interview possible. You're talking about bantamweights, and Dana White flips it back and starts talking about how good John Jones is. I'm like, mate, if he's that good, let's fight. There's plenty of ammo that people know about John Jones in his personal life. And I ain't going there. I'm about being the best heavyweight in the world. As I said, it's well documented that John Jones isn't the best person in the world, isn't the best human being in the world.
So you're going to be the backup fighter for the fight between Stipe and John?
Yes, mate, that's confirmed. And I will jump in on 1 hour's notice if I have to and beat either of them.
Who do you look up to more?
Well, I look up to Stipe more because don't make me say it, Anthony. Don't make me say it.
Say what? Say what? I want to know.
If there's anything about drug tests going on, then,
I didn't even think of that.
I wasn't thinking of that either.
That's a bit of an asterisk next to your name. I don't know either guy personally, but Stipe seems more my type of human being than
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Tom.
I just beat the number one contender, who is Sorogan, and the number one contender before him, who was Sergey Pavlovich, in a combined time of 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Fucking John's not doing that. He beat one guy, Sorogan, who didn't want to be there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's walking around calling himself the real champion. He's having an amazing career. Not a heavyweight. I'm the guy at heavyweight, not him. Me. I've got the real belt. I'm the one defending. He's defending against the 42-year-old Stipe Miocic with 1 million miles on the clock.
Talk.
Cook.
Just speak the truth. Just speak the truth. Speak the truth. Finally.
Shout out to Jamie in the chat. He says, "Where has
Shout out
this
Jamie, man.
been? Boy, oh
Oh,
boy. So
well
I'm gonna
done.
go back and show you some of the rebuttals that John Jones has had today. Finally, come back to some of the things that he's been accused of. So there was this wrestling clip with Tom
I've got
Aspinall
his whole
along with the
Twitter,
rugby
by the way.
player.
His whole Twitter.
Jones basically said, "It looks like Tom's displaying that amazing UK wrestling. My focus is on Stipe. He actually wrestled Division 1, best heavyweight of all time as of right now. Maybe Tom will go on and beat Stipe's record one day. Right now, I'm focusing on GOAT things." I have my reservation on whether I think Stipe is the best heavyweight of all time, but that's for another show. Also, wrestling is not the only aspect of mixed martial arts. Jones then goes on to say, the beautiful thing about my position is I'm not defined by one fight. Most of you grew up watching me win. Ha ha ha, man. You guys been really begging me lately. Is the heavyweight division really that boring without me? Again, I don't think it's a boring division without him. I just think everyone's fed up that he's holding the
I just
title.
want the champion to fight.
Precisely. Then he goes on to say, I guess there was a video that resurfaced recently of me saying that after Stipe, France is the only fight I was interested in. The video was recorded well over a year ago. That was recorded before I got injured, before there was an intern champion crowned. I had already voiced that I wasn't interested in any more randoms. Now, magically, I'm ducking a fight that's never been negotiated or discussed at any table that matters. LOL, I'm sticking to my plans. John Jones jumps up for no one. How many belts does one need? How many times do I have to break my own record? Then goes on to say, I'm 37 years old now. I've kicked everyone's ass. My job is to finish strong and make an amazing movie. Go join Tom Brady, Floyd Mayweather, and all the retired badasses. Luke, do you want me to go first, or do you want to chef?
I have more. I have more of his tweets. I have literally his Twitter.
I'll
thread.
go for it.
So someone put excuses to excuses. He went, haha, you guys have been. Oh yeah, I think he said that one. Yeah, that one.
Sorry, Shake. Great comment here by Franklin. Bro is champ and is mad. People want him to fight a contender. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So this is another one. There are fighters literally all over the world that think in the back of their mind that I can beat John Jones. There'll be no statues of you. Go out there and win more. Make your name greater. That's the only way you can do it. Another one. Yeah, seen that one. And then someone quote tweeted and kick Tom's ass then, or are you too scared? It feels good to know that on the way out, your sport was literally begging you to continue. No, you never know. The UFC will offer me a deal I can't refuse. Mate, just fuck off. Just please fuck off, man. You are not the guy that you think you are. You are running. You are ducking. You're interim champion. And I saw a comment from Donnie Does Dishes.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up these cards. Quickly go through. Shout out to Donnie Does Dishes. Tom had a chance 3 years ago to fight Jones and didn't put his hands up. Now he wants to fight Jones when he's 37. He didn't have a chance 3 years ago because he was just making his name in the UFC. So that's the first one, Donnie. And then also Tom didn't want to fight Francis when he had the belt. Again, Francis left the UFC back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Tom was just making his debut.
Tom was just coming into the UFC at that point. He wasn't even ranked in the top 10, so there was no way he was going to get a title fight. And then Francis left. The question you should be answering is, why didn't John Jones fight Francis Ngannou when they were both able to fight? Because they were both in the same promotion, and Jones was saying that it was going to go up.
Because it's money. Because
Also,
he priced himself out of the Francis fight, like 30 mil, which he knew he wasn't going to get because he was never been a big a star as he thinks he is.
Okay, Donnie, even if Francis left in 2022, where was Aspinall ranked in 2022? The sport moves, and Jones is deciding to hold it up. Also, just on the Stipe is the best UFC heavyweight of all time. If we're saying that Stipe is the best, are we basing this based on the fact that he had 3 title defenses? Is that what we're basing on? Because for me, that doesn't really wash, because the 3 people he defended the title against were a Junior Dos Santos, who was well out of his peak, and Alistair Overeem, who had never touched UFC gold. And then the third was Francis Ngannou, who fought the first time for the belt and was extremely inexperienced. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Stipe. I love Stipe. The notion that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time because he won 3, or he retained the belt for 3 defenses, I think is such a lazy argument. When you have to look at resume of these fighters. You have to look at what they've done. And I'd arguably say Francis Ngannou's resume holds up just as well as Stipe's. If we're going to do whole careers, Stipe did get stopped by Stefan Struve. Yeah. Francis lost once a heavyweight, and that was to Stipe. Twice, and Derek Lewis in what was obviously a lackluster fight. So surely we should be going off resume as opposed to just title defenses. Because if that's the case and we just go off title defenses, then Mighty Mouse is the greatest fighter of all time, and Dana White shouldn't even be speaking about John Jones if that's the case. Because John Jones has popped numerous times for drugs offenses.
Jones should be banned from the sport, man. John Jones is a stain on the sport. He is a stain on this sport. He should be banned. He should be banned. I cannot stand this arrogance. I don't get this. But Dana White will just blow smoke up his ass.
Yeah,
I've never seen Dana blow smoke up a guy's ass as much as John Jones. Not even the prime Conor McGregor did he blow that much smoke up his ass.
Yeah, it's true.
Because even Dana clamped down on McGregor to tell him what he needed to do. But with John Jones,
he's still clamping down on McGregor.
Can do no wrong. Tom's problem is that he'll have nobody to fight in the next 18 months. Yeah.
Do you know what? Sorry to cut you.
Everyone.
Sorry to cut you, Luke. Shout out to Donny, because that was actually one of my questions. Because if in my opinion John Jones wins, when he wins against Stipe and then decides to retire, you look at the heavyweight rankings, and I'll bring it up just for ease of reference. Tom Aspinall has 1 or 2 fights left in that division, unless someone really just comes out of nowhere and starts making a name for themselves. Tom Aspinall is interim champion, should be the undisputed champion, but that's again a different discussion for a different day. In the top 10, if he beat Cyril Gane, he would have beaten Gane, Volkov, Pavlovich, Blades. He needs to fight Almeida. He's beaten Spivak. Stipe's not going to fight, and he's beaten Tabora. And again, I don't see Rosenstrike getting any higher than maybe ranked 7th. So he's got effectively 1 or maybe 2 fights he can fight in that division. Because it's not like he had close fights with any of the aforementioned guys. He finished them all within 1 or 2 rounds. So not only is Dana holding up a division, he's also bottlenecking a division, because Tom's also doing such good work, but also he's not allowing Tom to take that next step. Because what happens with the John Jones thing is one of 2 things. Jones goes out there. No, there's a few scenarios actually. John goes out there, smokes Aspinall, and all of us sit back and go, you know what? We thought Aspinall was the guy, but Jones is the guy. Jones is the guy. And Dana White was justified in saying what he's saying. They go out, have a close fight, and Jones wins. You can have a rematch then. They go out, have a close fight, Aspinall wins. You can have a rematch. Or Aspinall smokes John Jones, and everyone goes, John Jones had a phenomenal career, still possibly the GOAT, but now he's passed the torch over, and we can make mega fights now because we've now got a new mega star. Dana White's not doing any of these things, and as a promoter, it is crazy this is happening. It almost makes me feel as though John's got something on Dana, or Dana just is so desperate to legitimize that heavyweight division, especially with Francis leaving, that he needs it to be John Jones. He has to have it to be John Jones, because if it's Aspinall who the main guy is, everyone can still throw the question out there and say, would Aspinall have beaten Francis? Whereas if it's Jones, because Jones did such phenomenal work at light heavyweight, everyone can turn around and go, oh, well, look what Jones did and look who he beat. He didn't beat these guys at heavyweight, though. And heavyweight is a whole nother ball game, especially with a Francis Ngannou who could sleep you with 1 punch. And if there's anything arguable about Jones's career, he never fought anyone apart from Rampage with that 1 punch out. He never fought Rumble Johnson. Rampage, in my opinion, was the only person he fought.
Never fought anyone in their prime.
I disagree with that.
Never. And plus, Donny does this. Jones isn't holding up the division. Yes, he is.
They both are. But
Yeah.
UFC and Jones are.
He is, because he doesn't want to fight the interim champion, which I have never, since watching the UFC, seen a guy win the interim belt and then the company's gone, nah, you can just fight some contenders and we'll pick a fight which, let's be honest, the fans don't care about. I don't care about this fight between Jones and Stipe. I really don't care. This fight is 7 years way too late. And you notice how Jones has picked this moment to jump up to heavyweight.
Yep.
Said he's going to take 3 years out.
Just on this, so Donny does dishes. He had a scheduled fight with Stipe and got injured. Khalil Rountree had a scheduled fight with Jamal Hill. That fight got pulled, and now he's having a title shot. Jamal Hill's probably going to fight someone else. Like, what is the justification for Stipe getting a title shot?
Because it's John Jones' legacy fight. But Dana has shown that even with like names like Anderson Silva, what? You want legacy fights? I don't give a fuck. You're fighting young guns. Yeah? And you can go out on a knockout loss to nobody watching you. And I think, and plus, the only guy that actually did, one up Dana was GSP when he beat Bisping.
Yeah.
He told Dana, yeah, I may defend the belt. And then she went to Dana, yeah, fuck off, I'm not defending that belt. See you
Feels
later.
like since then they kind of are trying
And
to
since
erase
then-
GSP from the history books.
And since then, Dana has been on a mission that if you're a legend, you're going out and like you are taking the hardest fights, no excuses, and you're going out like with fans going, was it really that good? But with John Jones, it's like, oh, John, you can do anything you want. Yeah, you can do anything you want. I fully expect him to retire, lay down the gloves, make all about him. I swear to God, if Stipe, if old man Stipe, if Joe Biden, yeah,
Stipe is not beating
if
John Jones.
Sleepy
Bro.
Joe Biden fucking beats John Jones,
It's not
I
happening.
don't drink early hours in the morning. I will wake up my missus, my dog, my cat. I will wake up every single fucking neighbor that lives by a pop in the champagne. Yeah, I'm gonna be drinking live on stream, drinking some lovely alcohol I've got because Jones would lose, and it would be delightful, it would be delicious because. You fuck around, you find out. And for me, he is holding up the division. Donny does dishes. Yeah. Tom's been in the UFC for 4 years.
And Stipe
Yeah,
hasn't
Alex-
fought for 4 years, almost anyway.
Yeah, he's probably fought for 3 because he did his knee. And there was even Jones was given a title shot at 23.
He earned his title shot.
Yeah, he earned his title shot. Just like Tom has earned his shot at John Jones, the interim champion.
And imagine what John Jones would have done if Shogun at the time turned around and said, well, no, I want a legacy fight against a Rampage or Rashad or someone like that. They'd have been uproar.
So 2 years ago,
Couldn't have called him out 2 years ago. John did just come. In fact, John had just come back and fought Cyril
won the
Gane,
belt.
won the belt. And he did call him out. And the first person that he wanted was Stipe. I'll ask, apart from Frankie Edgar when he fought Max Holloway for the 145-pound belt, I cannot think of a fighter who has whose last fight was a knockout loss and got a title shot against the person that didn't knock them out after over 3 years. I can't think of one.
And this is favoritism
Had
to the
no activity. In fact, how is Stipe still even ranked? Like, how has that happened?
That's big facts again.
No, we are, Donny. We are talking about Stipe. We have to
Yeah,
talk about Stipe. He's the one getting a title shot. How is he ranked? How is he still ranked?
A guy that, let's be honest, should have retired after his knockout loss to Francis. Like, if Jones was that desperate to have his legacy fight, just drop the belt.
And that's
Because
that's
this
what I
fight
was
bigger
going to say.
than the belt.
No one cares that
legacy
it's Stipe
fight
fight. It's
is
all
bigger
about
than
the belt. It's
It's
about the
all
belt.
about the belt. It's all about, I wanna match Stipe. You wanna match Stipe, mate? You need to stick around longer.
You don't need the belt. You don't need the belt to see who's better out of you two. Then, if that's the case,
If he was like so desperate, I want to beat Stipe's record. You need 3 title defenses, mate. This is your first one. This is his first title defense, by the way.
Yeah.
Tom Jones has defended his interim belt, which has only happened once before. I think was Arlovsky. I think was the only one to defend defend an interim title.
Oh,
Potentially,
maybe.
because it came up on the UFC that he's the second person to successfully defend an interim title, which is a joke, by the way.
No, not just a heavyweight, because I think Henan Barrow did that as well.
Yeah, but it's a joke, by the way. And of course, Dana, Tom has to be careful on that because I have to say that Tom's now put a target on his back. He must win his next fight because trust me, Jones will be there typing, and Dana will be ready to cook him because we know Dana doesn't give a shit who you are if your name's not John Jones.
Yeah,
If you
Donny,
come under his firing line-
Tom shouldn't even have a defense as an interim champion. An interim champion shouldn't have a defense. That's an issue. That statement is a problem in itself. He shouldn't have a defense.
That's boxing. But that's boxing. Dana is turning the UFC into the sport he never wanted to turn it into, and that's boxing.
Dana's the guy who was a hero, and he stayed around long enough to become the villain now. And he's so much in the forest, he can't see the woods from the trees now.
Yeah, because he's killing his own product. He's killing he's damaging his own product because his
Question is, does he
ego
even care?
like he is killing it. Yeah, I don't like interim titles myself, but in some situations you'd need
It's
it.
needed. Yeah.
The champ's out for a long period of time. For if they're out for a year plus, then you get an interim title involved. Get someone with a belt, and then when the champion comes back, the myth that it generates more pay-per-view, I think, is a little bit of a myth now. I don't think the pay-per-view is as big as it once was.
Yeah.
But yeah. With regards to this, it's I don't know unless the only way Tom Aspinall is going to get even close to what he wants if he says John Jones is on site. When I see you, I'm getting you, regardless.
He's not going to do that. And
that's what you need to do. You need to tell Jones, I'm going to rock up at your yard on site. If I see you, it's on site. Because now I'm going to punch your face in, sort of thing. So that's the only way he's going to, because we know Jones is going to retire. We know he's going to finish TPA in one round. Just going to say, yeah, goat shit, I'm done, bah, and just disappear, flash off in the sunset. And then whoever, let's say Jones wins, not Jones, Aspinall wins the official belt because he'll probably have to fight someone else, and then he wins. Then everyone will be like, yeah, well, he never beat Jones. And sort of this situation, regardless how it ends, if it ends with Aspinall becoming, even if it ends with Aspinall being undisputed champion after Jones retired, all this situation is doing is it's sort of crapping on the future of this division. Because no matter who holds the belt after Jones, if he retires, it's never beaten Jones, you see. Oh, was he that good? He never beat John Jones. He never beat the GOAT. And that's damaging for your product. That is damaging for your product. Because no one wants to tune in to a heavyweight title fight when we're all thinking, I don't think this guy would have beaten John Jones, And that's the killer. And that's the killer. But until Dana gets his head out of his ass, and I'd never seen Dana do this, but Dana never ceases to amaze me. I'm just checking to see if it's tweeted anymore, and then someone put a winner gets sent to a retirement home. And then Jones tweeted, "That's fair."
So you know what the killer is? We missed out on potentially having such an exciting period of the heavyweight division. We could have been in a situation where we had Cyril Gane, John Jones, Francis Ngannou, and Steve and Tom. Now we're not going to have any of that. Jones should have fought Ngannou. He decided to price himself out and make his negotiations difficult. The moment it was Cyril Gane who he had to fight, the negotiations went extremely smooth. And he came back. I think that's very telling.
because be a guy he knew he can beat. And trust me, if it was anyone else that was holding that interim belt, I can guarantee you he tells Stipe, yeah, just wait around a bit. I'll just finish this guy quickly. And then we have our fight.
So it's very telling that Jones didn't really push for the Francis Ngannou fight. He's not really pushing for the Tom Aspinall fight. But I do fully agree with Donnie here when he says the UFC, they do need to sign some heavyweights. Like the heavyweight division. I mean, I don't think they ever bring back Francis. Now, I don't think Francis ever goes back to UFC, especially with the treatment he's had from them since he's left as well. I mean, if Ferreira goes out and beats Francis and does it in devastating fashion, then I think the UFC need to go all out and try and pull out the stops to try and get him. But he'll probably be well compensated in the PFL, so he may not even do that either.
Or pray the Sheikh, His Excellency, puts enough money in front of Dana to say, hey, you're making this happen.
I still don't see it happening. But just going to end on this one. Simple question. Will John Jones fight Tom Aspinall?
Nope. John Jones is a bitch. And yeah, it's a bitch. He's MMA's biggest bitch. Simple as.
Do you think it damages John Jones' legacy? Not in the immediate, but in long term.
I don't think it damages his legacy because there's plenty of John Jones fans that will blow smoke up his own ass. I think it damages the heavyweight division because whoever holds that belt full time afterwards, even if it's Aspinall or not, they just be like, I never beat John Jones.
Yeah,
and that's damaging. Yeah, Jones is a pussy. Jones is a drugs cheat. He's a pussy. He's a runner. He's not a bigger star as he thinks he is. He's never sold over 1 million pay-per-view buys. For a person that's never sold over 1 million pay-per-views, fucking hell, you got some mouth to be chucking demands at. The UFC ain't going to pay you, but hey, it is what it is. Hey, Jones, if you want to be a little bitch, just be a little bitch. It's fine. Just, make sure you leave the belt on the way out or let someone beat you for the belt on the way out. Because let's be honest, you fight anyone that's younger than you, you're going to lose. So yeah, just fight old men. Just do Jake Paul. Just beat Jake Paul. Just beat Jake Paul. Just beat MMA's version of Jake Paul. Just beat up old men.
I'll be honest with you. I think apart from Tom, I actually think Jones probably beats everyone in the heavyweight division. Maybe I know it's going to sound silly because Blade just got starched by Tom, but I think stylistically, Blaze is a horrible fight for Jones as well. But I think outside of Tom, I think he probably beats everyone. He beats Cyril Gane again. He beats Volkov. He beats Jarlton. He beats Stipe. I don't know, but I think Tom's the one. I think anyone else is interim. Jones might do the fight. Tom is the worst. He's the absolute worst fight for him.
Yeah, big facts.
Oh, well, we'll see. We will see. Moving from one controversy onto another, and that is Khalil Rountree. And I know we did a video on this, Luke, last week regarding the announcement on UFC 307. But I just wanted to circle back to it because more people have been speaking about it, and I don't have an issue with him getting a title fight. That is Khalil Rountree Jr.
Yeah.
One, because I'm shamelessly saying that I've wanted to see this fight for a long time. I said it at the beginning of the year. I hope that they get the fight.
It's my prediction.
So that's the first thing. And second of all, I think he's the best suited for the fight. So I'm just going to play you a clip. Not that one, actually. I'm going to play you a different one of Khalil Rountree Jr. speaking on his title shot and what it means for the division and what he's made of other people and their thoughts on it. So bear me 1 second. Let me just get the video. Where can I find it? That's not the one. That's not the one. Now I'm looking for it. Can't bloody find it. I found it. There we go. Superb. Well done, Twitter. All right, I'm going to share that now.
Some of your fellow light heavyweights are not too thrilled about that. What have you made of the reaction since this fight was announced?
I understand that people are upset, whatever. Like, it's not my problem, for one. You know, like, it's not my problem. It's out of my control. If they give me the call, okay, I take it, you know? So let them deal with their own problems. Let them talk to the UFC on their own. Whatever fans are not happy about this, I don't know why. I couldn't even call them true fans if you're not happy about this matchup. But for everybody else, yes, they're absolutely right. It's going to be exciting from start to finish. And yeah, I'm hyped.
Some of your fellow light heavyweights are not too.
Shout out to Mike Heck for that interview. Luke, Jamal Hill, Jan Blachowicz, and Ankalaev have all come out saying that it's wrong that he's getting this shot. It's a stain on the sport because, you know, he's just been banned for substances showing up in his test. He spoke about this on the Jackson podcast with Quinton Rampage Jackson and said that it was tainted supplements. He actually was the one that informed the UFC that he had taken these supplements and that he fears that a test could come back. The UFC have virtually exonerated him of these things. Now, we've seen other people take drugs. We spoke about John Jones, who has never really been exonerated, but it's been swept under the rug. He was only given a 2-month ban, and that's just a case of almost like administration. You kind of just have to get a slap on the wrist just to save face. I think this drug thing has been blown out of proportion. I think it's being used by the likes of Jamal Hill and Jan Blachowicz and Ankalaev to push a narrative which I think is unfair. And the reason I think it's unfair is because I don't think it paints the whole story. Now I'm going to share the rankings again because I think this is very telling, especially when you look at the work that Alex Pereira has done in the division as well, and why we're at this situation where it kind of has to be Rountree. Yeah. So obviously Pereira is the champion. Yuri Prohaska, he's fought and beaten twice. Ankalaev, I'm going to circle back to. Jamal Hill's beaten. Blachowicz beaten. Rakic lost his last fight. Krylov is ranked 6th, but I don't know what's going on with him. Uzdemir has just beaten Johnny Walker, hence why he's gone ahead of Khalil Rountree. Khalil Rountree's last win was Anthony Lionheart-Smith. Now, everyone automatically says Ankalaev. Why isn't Ankalaev getting the fight? And I fully understand it. But let's not revise history here. Ankalaev was offered the fight against Pereira and said no and tried to schedule it on a time where it was suitable for him. You cannot do that if you're the challenger. You can't, especially when you're not a big name. And I think everyone acts like, oh, he's just being treated like this and that. No, he was offered the fight and he said no. Now, again, he's got every right to say no because obviously you want to be 100% and you want to make sure the terms are as good to you as possible going into a title fight. But you can't then moan when you don't get offered again. You can't. It just because we know what the UFC is like. Plus, just from a business standpoint, if you offer someone a lottery ticket and they turn you down, the likelihood is you're not going to offer them another lottery ticket.
No.
In terms of excitement and being, for me personally, this is the best fight that can be made at 205. In my opinion, in fact, I'll change that. I think it's the most exciting fight on paper because they're two guys who are not going to look for a takedown. They're going to stand there and they're going to trade off, and whoever hits the hardest is probably going to win the fight.
Big facts. Okay, my prediction video at the beginning of the year on my channel, this was the fight I desperately wanted to see.
Same.
Massive tick. I am a very sick individual. I love to see violent fights, and on the list of most violent fights that they can put together, this is at the top of the list. Okay, and he is deserving on the win streak that he's on at the moment. However, with that, I have to say this is not a good look on the UFC because of the context about him. I know that he admitted to the UFC that he did take tainted supplements. For me personally, he should have had a fight before he fought for the belt. Personally,
that's fair
for me. However,
but they tried to schedule one and Jamal's injured.
Yeah, true. However, the other fighters like Jamal Hill, Rakic, Blachowicz, bitching and moaning. Didn't see this energy when John Jones were getting title shots when they were popping and cheating for shit. And I didn't see the same energy when the other fighters were popping and they were getting title shots. I didn't see that same energy.
Yeah.
Because it's affected your division.
Well, not
That's
just
why.
that. I've not seen them have that energy to fight Pereira or do anything that stipulates they should get the Pereira fight. Apart from Ankalaev, who else in that division is deserving of a title shot?
No one. No one. Probably, ironically, Khalil.
Exactly. I think if it's not Ankalaev, it's Khalil.
Yeah, I just for me personally, this is how they should have done it. They should have rebooked Jamal Hill, Khalil Rountree.
Yeah, agree.
Rebooked it, and then booked Ankalaev Pereira.
I need to know the story behind Ankalaev having to fight.
I think
back.
Ankalaev was. I think he was carrying an injury. What I led to believe.
But why wouldn't he just? Because Pereira's fighting a month later. That one is weird to me. The fact that he's fighting a month earlier than Pereira is.
Unless he desperately wanted to fight in Abu Dhabi, and Pereira was like, "Yeah, not for me, thanks."
So you wouldn't, bro. It's title shot. You're saying you have to fight in Abu Dhabi, but you won't wait a month to fight for the title shot in America. That doesn't make sense to me.
The Abu Dhabi thing is a reason, but it's a possibility. It could be a reason. Don't want to fight in America. Want to fight in Abu Dhabi, but you're not the champ.
Yeah, you can't stipulate. I know Charles Oliveira had to go to that part of the world to fight Makhachev. But Makhachev's a massive star who is co-signed by Khabib, who's an even bigger star. Ankalaev doesn't have that sort of rub. And I mean, his last win was against Johnny Walker. Khalil's last win was against Anthony Lionheart. It's not like either of them have beaten the elite of the elite. Like Johnny Walker and Swift, they're kind of in the same category in terms of good fighters, but not close to being elite. And they both got finished devastatingly. I don't get the moaning about it. It's weird.
It's just fighters getting a little bit, their ego's not getting stroked the way that they wanted to get stroked. Pause. But fighters, UFC fighters, we know they've got fragile egos. Just look what's happening with John Jones. Gets his ego questioned, and now he's crying like a little bitch. Most of them, the second the egos get tested, they go crying on social media. They go lashing out on social media. Go lashing out in interviews because they're not getting their own way.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. But I don't see any of them really doing anything to demand a title shot. I've not seen any performances or any fighters being active for them to deserve a title shot. So how about you just sit down, wait your turn, and actually put some work in? Make yourself undeniable to the fans when the fans are literally begging the UFC to say, give this guy the fight, even though we know the UFC won't make it because they don't like to listen to fans, but you need to make yourself undeniable. And for me, it's just, I have noticed over the last few years, God, these fighters love to complain, when things don't go in their own way.
Yeah.
When you don't deserve it, but you're still moaning.
They kind of have to. Fighting's a selfish sport. If you don't try, you don't get.
Yeah, I understand why Aspinall's doing the skits for John Jones. I understand. But for some of these other fighters, I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Yeah, weird.
It's a very weird one. Guys, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Also, click the link in the description. Subscribe to Luke's channel. Subscribe to Jamie Phillips' channel as well. Going to finish up by speaking about the middleweight division. Now, obviously, we just saw the title defender of that division, and Dracus du Plessis is still reigning, defending, undisputed middleweight champion of the UFC. However, I wanted to pose a question because it has been playing on my mind quite a lot. And I know this might get shut down, but I think if you actually fully engage with the question, I think you may see a lot of what I'm saying here. I feel as though middleweight might be the most exciting division, if not top 3 at the moment, in terms of fighters and storylines. So, Dracus du Plessis is champion. He just beat Israel Adesanya, who he had a feud with. Previous to that, he fought Sean Strickland and won a close decision. So everyone thought that fight should have been run back. Strickland came off probably the biggest middleweight title fight shock since Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman #1, and beat Adesanya, who before that had only lost to Pereira, who is now speaking about going back down to 85 to fight Duplessis. Robert Whittaker is fighting Khamzat Chimaev, Khamzat Chimaev is a massive name, but relatively unproven at 185, and is going against the Reaper, who is extremely proven and may actually be on the Mount Rushmore of 185s in the UFC. Then you've got old guard like Paulo Costa, Jack Hermanson, Cannonier, and Vittori still sticking around. But what makes the division very exciting is you've got new blood like Michel Pereira, Bahalio, Chimaev, who we've already mentioned, Delidze, and Imavov. I think there are so many storylines. Is he going to fight a contender next? How long does he wait to fight? What happens with the winner and loser of Robert Whittaker and Chimaev? What happens with the winner and loser of DDP and Strickland? What happens with Imavov versus Allen as well? I think the middleweight division at the moment, while it might not have the biggest names, in my opinion, is the most exciting division right now overall. Luke, do you agree or disagree, my bro?
You know what? I know I disagreed on stream, but I think now thinking of it now, and especially after hearing some quotes and some interviews, I think I agree, you know, because we've got talks of Pereira wanting to drop down, sort of avenges his long time mate.
Yeah.
Mate, competitor, rival.
Yeah.
Izzy. Brahatka's talking about maybe dropping down to 185. We've got does Kamaru Usman jump up to 185?
I forgot about Prohaska when it's
Does
come down.
Bilal Muhammad, who still said Dricus sucks, do we see Bilal jump up to 185?
Usman and Bilal could do it.
Usman, Bilal, does Leon say, hey, maybe I want a piece? Or does, you know, MVP's like, yeah, maybe 170 is not for me, go jump up to 185?
I think MVP might be too small for middleweight.
Or do we see something super ballsy? Like, oh, Islam doesn't want to fight Bilal. Yeah, fuck it. You know what? He might jump up to 185, fight Dricus Duplessis. Be mental, but you could see it happen.
I tell you what, if Islam Makhachev did that, that would be insane.
But there are plenty of options. Okay, would I say the same if it was Izzy that won the belt again? You'd be looking at some of those fights going, yeah, Izzy's beaten a few of these a couple of times, so you couldn't really see him get as out of a shot. So in hindsight, when you look at the landscape of the division, it is best that Dricus did retain the belts. Sorry, Cal. As in, you get loads of fresh matchups. And I think that's what everyone's like going, yeah. Or Rakhmonov, just think about it. Loads of fights from 170 that want to jump up to 185. You got 185ers, you got young blood. Even look at some of the unranked fighters as well. Coming up from 185.
Yeah, it's true. Bo Nickel.
Robocop, 185. Bo Nickel, 185.
Yeah.
And you got 205 that might decide that they want to drop down. Obviously, Brahatchka, Pereira. Trying to think of any other 205s that might want to drop down.
Brahatchka in the 185 division could be an absolute madness.
Tell
crazy.
Hit the road, son.
Oh, it'd be crazy.
Get these
I just don't know
middleweights
if Prohaska can make the weight though.
No, might need to chop off that hair of his. Yeah, might need to chop off the hair. Might need to chop off the hair to get to 185.
Do you know what? He's not a small 205er. So to lose another 20 pounds, it's not obviously impossible with the right dieting and time and everything. But I tell you what, that's gonna be intriguing, man. That is gonna be intriguing if that happens.
I think Dricus is gonna be an active champ as well.
Yeah.
But he said he wants to defend the belt another few more times then to jump up to 205.
And he seems like he's a man of his word. And shout out to Pereira, Izzy, Strickland, and Dracus. They all won the belt, and all of them made a bone to defend and keep that division active. Shout out to those four. They didn't have to do it. And shout out to Whittaker as well. Because although Whittaker got his injuries, he always tried to. Those guys have never tried to hold up the division or anything like that. They've always been game and active to want to fight. Have to rate it. But yeah, well, Luke, gonna wrap up there. Justice CJ, I am looking to do that. I just need to find the time, but I am looking to do that. I really do want to get involved in the Contender Series, so I might jump on that very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Please do keep an eye out for that. Once again, Luke, have you got anything coming up which you can tell the people about so they can
I'll
follow
probably
you?
have a stream tomorrow night. Probably this. I don't know what it'll be about yet, but it'll probably be some other topics that we didn't discuss,
Cool.
such as the rest of the card. You seen Kamaru Usman's comments with Henry Cejudo? Those are quite tasty.
Yeah, that got a
We
bit
may need to
fiery.
check that up as well. So
Yeah.
so stay tuned. It'll probably be tomorrow, roughly about the same time. Hopefully, get Callum or Jamie on, depending if they've got other stuff on. But yeah.
Sorry, Anila, I am not going to be getting into cricket. I just don't have this time to pick up another sport, and it doesn't intrigue me like that. What I will say, guys, I'm aiming to do another stream again before the end of the week, so please do switch on the notification bell. On the road to 2,000 subs, still on around 9,000. Sorry, not 9,000, 1,935, 36. So if you can help me get up to that, that'd be amazing. Before I go, though, I want to shout out to people like Anila, AJ, Franklin, Jamie Phillips, obviously, Donny, Goat since 1997. Who else we got? CJ, man like Jav, and all the regulars who contribute to the chat and come into the chat, and ZK Sim. John Henry is lanky, can't say the rest of it. Dom Dewsbury, hope I've not forgot anyone. Just want to say a massive thank you to you, to all of you. Smash that like button, people. Make sure you switch on the notification bell. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Luke, as always, thank you so much, bro. Big up to Jamie. Hope everything's good on your side, bro. Until we see you next time. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining.